Today we are doing a book haul. Those boxes are actually really heavy because for some reason half the books I have bought are hardbacks. I don't know what is going on at the moment, but so many books are being released in hardback these days rather than paperback. And I can't say I'm thrilled about it, to be honest, but it is what it is. It's been a long time since I've done a book haul. I cannot remember when my last one was, but I'm pretty sure it was last year. That actually could be a complete lie, but I'm pretty sure it was a long time ago. I have been trying my best to just not buy many books recently because I just want to get through the books I have on my TBR. I also want to utilise my Kindle, and especially now that I have my Kobo, I want to utilise being able to read library books. So I just honestly have not been buying that many books. But if you've watched some of my videos recently, you will know that I have been kind of in and out of a slump. Not really out of it much, but kind of like in and around a reading slump for months at this point. So I decided it was time to do a book haul, and I'm hoping that this will get me excited to read some of these books and get me out of my reading slump. I've tried everything else at this point and I feel like I do manage to kind of climb out of my reading slump with certain books, and then I just go straight back into it. So here we are, and I've done a book haul, and I actually do feel a little bit bad about it because my TBR cart is quite full. I know compared to lots of people on BookTube, I do not have a massive TBR. There are people who have hundreds of books on their physical TBR, and that could just never be me, to be honest, because I just feel guilty having so many unread books. But I think once I've opened all of these books, this will be like the most amount of books I've had on my TBR in a long time, if not ever. So let's hope that this works and gets me out of my reading slump, because I really need to get through some of my books, and there's so many that I'm just so excited to read, but then most books just aren't hitting at the moment, unfortunately. Right, anyway, I'm gonna get on with the haul. Where should we start? I have one smallish box. It's not that small, but you know, it's only got 2 or 3 books in there, I imagine. And then one big box, which this must have a lot of books in because I did order quite a few. And for once, Amazon seems to have compiled them into only 2 boxes, which is pretty good going. We may as well start with this smaller one, and this one also has a pull tab, so that's great. Let's pull out the first book. Okay, the first book is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I'm pretty sure this came out in the last month or so. It's definitely not been out very long, and I just love Abby Jimenez books, especially the Part of Your World series. I really enjoyed all of the books in that series, especially Just for the Summer. That was a 5-star book for me, and I'm excited to read this one. I think this is either a standalone or it's part of a new series. I actually don't know what it's about. It says the perfect guy, the perfect date, utterly disastrous timing. I feel like lots of people who like Emily Henry books also like Abby Jimenez books. I am not a major fan of Emily Henry books myself personally, but Abby Jimenez books, they just always seem to hit for me. I feel like she just does such a good job with the romance, with the characters, with an interesting storyline. I don't really want to read the blurb because I just don't like to know too much about what a book's about. There's clearly a dog in it. I'm thinking from what it says on the front, it's maybe right person, wrong time trope, maybe. I don't know, we will see. But I'm excited to read this because so far I've had really good luck with her books. I don't think I've ever rated one of her books less than 4 stars. I actually don't think I have, so that's pretty good. Let's go back. Okay, we have 2 more books in here. Okay, we have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This literally just came out. When did this package arrive? Yesterday or the day before when I'm filming this? Honestly, I don't know what it's about. I think it's in space. And it says it's a love story. It says, to look at the night sky is to look at parts of who you once were, who you may one day be. So it's set in the 1980s around space. I don't really know anything else about it. You know what, I am actually going to read the blurb for this one. In the summer of 1980, astrophysics professor Joan Goodwin begins training to be an astronaut at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates. Blah 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 blah. As the new astronauts prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a passion and a love she never imagined and begins to question everything she believes about her place in the observable universe. Then, in December of 1984, on a mission, everything changes in an instant. I find that the settings and the storylines of Taylor Jenkins Reid books are always really interesting. Daisy Jones and the Six is one of my favourite books of all time. I also really enjoyed The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and One True Love. It's been a hot minute since I've read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I also feel like often, although her books have romance in them, they're more fiction books than romance books, and sometimes that's a nice way to break things up because predominantly I read romance and fantasy romance books, so sometimes it's good to just have more of like a fiction book with a side plot of romance, because I do always like to have romance in my books. Also, I do really like the cover of this one, although I kind of wish it wasn't completely matte. I mean, the writing's not matte, but I don't know, I just would have liked it to have a bit more texture. I can feel like this is going to get really dusty. Okay, and then we have one more book in this box. Oh yeah, so we have The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This is a romantasy. Again, this is one that I don't really know that much about. Stephanie Garber says, deliciously dark and romantic. When one makes a fairy bargain, one must be prepared to pay the price. It's a YA. It has a gorgeous cover. Considering this is just the standard edition, it is quite beautiful. I'm excited to read this one. I feel like this will just be a fun, easy time. I've definitely heard people enjoying it, but I've not heard loads about it. Recently I have been finding that I prefer YA fantasy romance to adult fantasy romance. I don't know why that is, it's just something that I've been finding at the moment. I feel like adult romantasy was just starting to feel the same, like it was starting to feel so repetitive, whereas I feel like the YA ones I've read, and this is like probably just like the books I've read and not like a broad statement to be taken too seriously, but I feel like the YA ones I've read have more interesting and more diverse stories and settings than the adult romantasy books I have read recently. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Now we can move on to this big boy. Okay, it is literally full to the brim. The first one that I can see is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This is actually the book that I am currently reading, and a slight spoiler because I am reading this in a reading vlog. I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. I'm reading it on Kindle Unlimited, and at first I thought that I would just wait to see if I enjoyed it before I bought the physical book, but then I just decided actually I have all of Jessa Hastings' books physically and I love the covers of all of her books, and this one is no different. The cover is stunning and the end pages are also really pretty. So even if it doesn't turn out to be a favourite book, she is one of my favourite authors and her covers are by far my favourite book covers ever. So I am happy to have the physical copy to put on my shelf. This is Jessa Hastings' first standalone book, and we are following our main character, Georgia. She lives in London and she is estranged from her family who live in the US. However, she gets a call to say that her father has died, and so she goes back to the US. And we are kind of following the complex history and relationships that she has with her family. Another hardback. I said there was loads of hardbacks. This time I have Silver Elite. Now this is, I feel like, the book talk book of the moment. I'm pretty sure it's a dystopian romance. I don't know if it like classes as fantasy at all. I honestly do not know what it's about, but I just saw people loving this. I think, is this YA? I think it might be. Actually, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea if it's YA or not, but it says, in the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series, psychic gifts are a death sentence and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. And this has been going crazy on Book Talk for a while now, and as soon as I saw that, I was influenced and I would like to read this quite soon. I just feel like it's been such a long time since I've read a dystopian book. I was very much here for the big dystopian time that we had, however many years ago it was, when we had like The Hunger Games, Divergent, Delirium. Like, I loved all of them and I'm excited that it's maybe making a comeback. Let's see. Okay, next one we have is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I have not read a Christina Lauren book in such a long time. I used to really like their books. The Unhoneymooners specifically is like my favourite one of their books, although I'm scared that if I reread it now I wouldn't like it as much. But when I did read it back in 2020, like, it was amazing to me. I was obsessed. And I've heard that this one has a really funny female main character, and I just have been tempted to read it for a while, and it seems like a good summer read, so I'm hoping that I can get around to this one this summer. If you have read this one, please convince me that I need to read it, because I can imagine this is going to be a book that like just sits on my TBR cart and I never quite feel like it's the perfect time to read it. I feel like it could be a really fun read, which would be pretty good for me right now in my sumpy state that I am in. Anna Green has a plan. Marry Liam Weston at the start of college to get the family discount on campus housing, and then sign the divorce papers as the graduation bells chime. Everyone's happy and they can both go on their merry ways. So it's kind of like fake dating, fake marriage, I think, which actually is not that dissimilar to the Unhoneymooners plot, so maybe this could be a really good one for me. Okay, what have we got next? Okay, another new release. This is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I have heard the most amazing things about this book. Like, I have just heard that maybe it's like her best book yet, and I am a big Ali Hazelwood fan. I have not yet read Deep End. I really need to read that. And actually, I haven't read the book that this kind of is a spin-off of. I don't think you have to though, so I'm kind of not going to. Oh yeah, Not in Love is the one that this is a bit of a spin-off of. I think like it just follows some characters that you see in Not in Love, but I don't think I'm going to read that one. I hadn't heard the best things about it, and I don't think you have to. So I think I'm just going to go straight into this one. But yeah, I love Ali Hazelwood books. I don't know what this one's about, but I think maybe it's an age gap. Okay, so our female main character is 23 and our male main character is 38. So it is an age gap romance, but like if I'm going to read an age gap romance, I kind of like those ages. Like 23, she's a full-grown adult. 38, he is also an adult, but not like an old man. I'm excited to read this one. I'm actually now thinking like this is such a good idea to do this book haul, and maybe that is why I've been in a slump, because I just haven't been allowing myself to read books that I've been really excited to read. And now that I'm opening most of these books, like I'm excited. We've been interrupted by some dogs. No, you're not squeaking that ball in here. Okay, we've been left with one dog who you actually can't see at the moment because he's off camera, but I am sure he is going to cause some annoyance, so sorry about that. Okay. You know what, let's just stick with the new release theme. I'm so excited to read this, and I have seen so much discourse about this book and an online feud between people who love this book and see why it was written. I found it heartbreaking, but like in a good way, like it's a story that needs to be told. And I've seen other people basically bashing Chloe Walsh, saying that what's in this book like should not be released, and saying that what's in this book is not appropriate. I've obviously not read this yet, so I don't fully know what people are talking about, but I am very much on the side that like some stories need to be told, and as long as they're not told in a way that is romanticizing certain things, I have no problem with it being in a book. And I think that often it's important that these things are included in books and that depth is added to characters. That's just my opinion. And I know from the other books in this series that this book, which follows Hugh and Lizzie, is going to be heartbreaking. Like, I know it's going to be heartbreaking, and Lizzie is a very complex character, and we know that she's been through some trauma, and I'm guessing that that is what people are referring to, that they did not want to see that in this book. However, this is her story and it deserves to be told, and I am very excited to read this. Also, it is a lot longer than I expected. How many pages are we talking? Over 700 pages, 730 pages. I am so excited to get into this. These books are like crack to me. Like, I am obsessed with the Boys of Torment series, and I'm so happy that we have a new book, and this is one that I have been so highly anticipating. Like, I am just so excited to read this. If you do like romance books and you like to read books that have more emotional depth to them, imperfect characters, and lots of found family, like, please do read them. They are by no means glamorous romantic comedies, that is just not what they are, but I eat them up. I honestly just can't recommend them enough. I love them, and I think that the characters that Chloe Walsh has created are incredible. Like, they are so real to me, and I love them, and yeah, I cannot wait to read this. And if you're somebody who wants to bash on Chloe Walsh and these books, like, take it away from here. Like, I do not want that here. I love this series, and that's all I've got to say. Okay, next we have a different genre. We have The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, and this is a thriller that I've been wanting to read for a little while, and I actually saw that it's being turned into a paperback now, like it's being released as a paperback soon, and the cover is different for the paperback, and I just love this cover. I needed this cover. This is actually different to the cover that I have seen elsewhere. I think I've seen it with green instead of pink, but I still really like the pink, and I just love the drip, and I just wanted to have a copy with this cover. I don't really buy thriller books that often, but there's just something about this one that was calling to me, and I kind of wanted to have it, so here we are. Not ideal to have a hardback thriller. I honestly don't have any other hardback thrillers, I don't think, so it's not going to look great on my shelves with the thrillers, but it's beautiful, so I am not mad about it. This is kind of a thriller mystery, and we are following this family, and basically their daughter goes missing. I think they have like a mansion in the woods, and their daughter goes missing, and actually the same thing happened to their son 14 years ago. That's all I know. It's a mystery thriller, and I am very excited to read it, and I just love the cover. Also, we have bright pink end pages, which I also love. Hopefully this is one that I can get around to soon, because I actually love a thriller in the summer, probably more than I like reading them in autumn winter. I feel like autumn winter is peak like fantasy time for me, and spring summer is like romance and thrillers. I don't know why, but I just love to read them at this time of year. Okay, we have a few books left. The Women by Kristen Hanna. The only Kristen Hanna book that I have read so far is The Nightingale, and I really enjoyed it. I've also heard really good things about Firefly Lane, although I did watch the Netflix show when that was on years ago, so I'm kind of like less bothered about reading it because I feel like I already know the story. If the book is different, please tell me and maybe I will read it. But I was really impressed with her writing. I feel like the stories that she tells are really interesting, and I think this is one of her newer ones, and I don't know at all what it's about. It says The Women is a novel of epic love and devastating loss. It's a story of a memorable heroine and her deep friendships whose idealism and courage under fire will define an era. Their friendship changed lives, their bravery changed history. So honestly, it sounds like similar vibes to The Nightingale, which I love stories about strong women, and I'm excited to read this one. I need to stop saying that because I know I say that about every book. Like, I'm sorry. That's probably really annoying. Okay, we have 2 books left. So we have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is her new release. I can't remember when this came out, like fairly recently, but not super recently. Rachel Gillig is the author of the Shepherd King duology, which I really enjoyed. That's a gothic fantasy romance duology, and this one I believe is also gothic fantasy romance. And is this one another duology? Yeah, okay, the Stonewater Kingdom book 1, so I assume this is going to be a duology again. I do not know what it's about though. A gothic mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the one knight whose future she cannot see. The magic system in the Shepherd King duology was so interesting and it just felt so atmospheric. I'm hoping that this one is going to be similar. To be honest, this might be one that I save until maybe autumn, like a bit later in the year, just because that is the vibes that her last books gave me anyway, and I think that this one maybe is a bit similar. So it might be a while until I get around to this one, but I just wanted to buy it now, and look how beautiful. Honestly, we've got some really pretty covers here. So, and then one last book. Oh, okay. So we have One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I really need to read, what's it called? This Summer Will Be Different. I've heard really good things about that one and I really want to read it. I loved Every Summer After. I didn't bother with Meet Me at the Lake because I just didn't hear great things about it. This Summer Will Be Different I heard really good things about and want to read it, and then I feel like I've also heard good things about this one even though it's only recently come out. If you've read Every Summer After, this one follows a main character from Every Summer After who I feel like people have mixed feelings about. Personally, I'm very excited for this person's story. I really love the settings of these books. I say that I've only read Every Summer After yet, but I'm pretty sure they all have a similar setting where they're basically set at lakes, and that is just such like an American summer vibe. Very different to anything that we really have here in the UK, but I just love the vibe and the settings. So I am excited to get to this one. Oh, I've said it again, stop. Okay, that is the end of the book haul. Please let me know in the comments if you have read any of these and your thoughts on them, or if there are any books that you are especially excited to read out of these ones. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next video. Bye!